Welcome back to another episode of
Your Secret Safe with Me.
with your favorite besties, Tanisha
In India.
All right,
So this week we are talking about boundaries. So, yes, hard
conversations. So that's what we'll be touching on today. But per usual, we got to get into something good,
something
Go ahead and
positive.
Start off India.
Oh, what is my positivity? I was like, I'll just give an encouraging word is what I was going to do. But I can't think of what the encouraging word is.
This is when you put in crickets.
Dang. I'm clipping this out.
You put crickets as we lead up to.
Well, you go. Okay.
Look, and then you come to me and it's crickets.
What's positive going on in your life?
Positive. I'm alive, so that's always a positive. I'm alive and I'm well.
Yes.
You can keep it as simple as that.
Oh, yeah, we can. I'm about to say that.
But let's see. I'm not going to talk about what that phone call was, but I just got a good phone call.
Yes.
So it's a positive. It's on a positive note. So I'll just leave it there with that. But something I will talk about is I started a new course, the project management course.
Yes.
I started on a new project management course once I get back into the work field after this time period of just being with my child and me just being with her. I want to enter into the project management world. And so I have gone on to start that course, and I do it at night when my baby is asleep. And that's how we will get it done.
Mother.
We're going to get it done that way.
Hardworking mother studying and late at night. I love that.
But yeah.
Oh, I still can't remember what I was going to say. So I'm going to just say mine is, since you spoke on that, I'll just decide to share that, me and my husband are pushing out us doing weddings as a service. And we are now at 5 weddings this year.
And weddings are no small project.
It's not a small project.
That's a big thing. So
I'll say that's a positive thing that we're growing in the business.
Yeah.
Next time I'll have my encouraging word together.
But that was good though, because that's positive.
It is positive.
That's very positive.
It is.
I guess if we really actually sat down and really thought about all the positives, we would have so many. But we make it complicated.
I know.
We make it so complicated. Like, well, what did happen? But anyway.
Yes, very true.
Well, moving on to
the topic.
Our topic. Again, conversation is about navigating hard conversations, having hard conversations, and
having
within that,
boundaries.
having boundaries. So, I think I put the question. I wrote the questions right.
Phone. Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Wow. Okay, we'll start off with kind of just defining it and what we think. What do you consider to be a hard conversation, tough conversation, however you want to look at it?
I think a hard conversation looks like something that I want to share with you, but I feel like you may feel a certain way about it, or it might hurt your feelings that you might have made me feel, or you've done something to me in a way that was hurtful, and it wasn't your intentions. Sometimes it's people's intentions.
Yeah,
I'm being nice, but typically having hard conversations kind of look like that. It's like you don't know how the person's going to respond, or you don't want to kind of hurt their feelings or ruffle the relationship because you don't know how someone may take it,
right,
or respond, or you might hear the response you want to get out of it, like a sorry, or you might get no resolution out of it. So that's what makes it a hard conversation a lot of times in my head. What about you?
Yeah, definitely along the same lines. I mean, anything for me, a tough conversation, hard conversation, whether I am prepared to have it or not, it's just something that's uncomfortable. To me, I just think of uncomfortable, regardless of who it's with. And because of those reasons that you mentioned, like, okay, I can only control what I have to say and how I put this out there to you, but I don't know what your reaction is going to be. I don't know if this is going to damage the relationship that we have. I don't know if I'm going to hurt your feelings, even though I know myself and my intention is never to go into a hard conversation with malicious intent to hurt somebody's feelings. But that doesn't mean that the person that receives it would receive it in the way, in that way. So it's all of those things. And so initially it's like anxiety filled and it's uncomfortable.
Be anxious, uncomfortable.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I've even had times where where I know I've wanted to have a hard conversation about something with someone and I didn't sleep well the night before. Or, stuff like that, because it just stirs so much anxiety in you, not because of what you have to say, but because
you're worried about
the
outcome, because that can change the relationship too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think that kind of.
As you say this, I'm thinking about more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and we all have them.
Yeah.
Some more than others.
I think that's the thing too, is because we decided to talk about this. I'm like, now I got to think. And I was having a hard time, but now we're talking about it. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of some more, and thinking of times where I just decided not to say anything at all.
Right.
So
and that kind of goes into the next question about like sharing a time that you did have to have a conversation that you feel comfortable sharing, obviously, and like what for you with that person made it difficult to have that type of conversation.
Girl,
I can't see an idiot.
Wait.
Oh my God,
this is crazy.
Because what, now you thinking of more stuff?
Because I'm thinking of something else. Yes, that's crazy.
Do share. Do tell.
It
could be vague. Like, you don't have to go in depth. The person was like, oh, I know she's talking about me.
Right. Dang. Now I don't know which one to say. Okay, so I'll just do the one that I originally said I was going to do. So, I guess it's one with my husband that I'm thinking of, where you said give the example, right? Where the examples. Yeah. So I've had a hard. Ooh,
damn.
Now you done lost the questions.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay, so one, I had a hard conversation. It sounds like it's deep into there too. Girl, it didn't feel on the floor. Okay. So a hard conversation that I've had with my husband. To give an example, this one was more recent. So he was sharing something with me that he had discussed with some friends. And I will say I appreciate his transparency all the time to always let me know. But this time I was just kind of like, I'm feeling some type of way. Like, I need you to defend me more. Or I feel like you could defend my stance. Like, you know where I'm coming from. I have a good heart, and we did discuss, like, he did know where I was coming from. So I was kind of like, go ahead and, defend me how I portrayed it to you. So I just had to let him know. And it was a hard conversation, is because it's like, I don't want him to feel like, oh, you never defend me. You never are down for me or whatever. But I did want to make it known, like, you could have did a better job at that moment to me. Mm-hmm. So it was difficult because, one, I'm sharing my feelings, and I know I have a hard time sharing my feelings in the first place sometimes. But I was like, let me share how I feel in a respectable way, in a kind way, just let him know, like, I'm kind of feeling like this. I'm feeling a certain way. And he heard me out and he apologized, which my husband's really good at apologizing. Or, like, it doesn't take him a lot. Not to say he's always apologizing, but it doesn't take him a lot. Yeah, he's really good at taking accountability and seeing where, if I say my feelings are hurt, like, he'll hear me out and stuff.
That's good.
But, yeah, I had to let him know, like, have my back. Like, I don't need people thinking stuff that is not true.
Right.
Or I think at the end of the day, he didn't understand where I was coming from, but he was more stuck on that than defending me. So that was kind of where the disconnect was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So that was the example.
Yeah, and that's good because I mean, you brought up some like good points in there that I had been thinking about in terms of like what makes hard conversations hard is the fact that like, yeah, people, you don't know if people are going to take accountability for one. And a lot of times when you have to enter into a space where you feel like you need to have a hard conversation, it's probably because there is some type of disconnect. There's something that is not being understood from one party to the other, which is why conversations need to be had. So yeah, but to kind of give my example,
what's yours?
to give my example, or a time when sounds like an interview question.
Had a hard conversation.
A time that you had a hard conversation.
Our Oprah voice.
Yeah, Oprah voice. So, one that stands out. I've had hard conversations in every aspect of my life. And I think most people have, whether it's professionally, like at your job, or personally with your friends, family, your spouse, your significant other type of thing. And I guess it's kind of hard to say, I guess depending on the person, which conversations with what types of people are the hardest, you know?
Ooh, yeah,
that's kind of hard. I know for, were you about to answer it or something for you?
I was. I mean, I think it's by scenario rather than who the person is.
Yeah. But for me in this specific situation, I wasn't really fearful of having this conversation because I knew it needed to be had, but yet I still had so much anxiety going into this conversation with this person because I had tried to have a conversation previously multiple times with this person, and the accountability wasn't there, and that person continued to get defensive. And to be even more transparent, this person is my family member, my father. And without even getting too deep into our personal relationship, the fact is there really isn't a solid relationship. And it's because of just things in the past that I felt were wrong and that we're wrong, whatever. And I just know that for me, I am a pretty vocal person and I do my best to keep honest and open communication. And so with him, I try to take the same approach that I would anybody else and like share how I was feeling and why I felt that way, and really kind of get to, you need to take accountability for the part you played in all of this type of thing. And it wasn't happening initially. And so the outcome for a long time was nothing. It was like, I didn't even want to talk to him anymore because it's like, you're not trying to hear me. You're not trying to take accountability. You're not trying to, I don't even think I was looking for an apology at that point. I think it was more just accountability, just acknowledging what was going on and what had
transpired.
What had transpired. That's it. But you know what? God is good. God is good. And we did finally come to a point where we did have a sit down and I was able to get it all out. I was able to just release. And I'm telling you, it took so much off of me in that moment. And I mean, there's within my relationship with my father, it's still things that, process. It's a process. But that initial step was a very big step because when I was able to have that difficult conversation with him, he sat there and he just took it in. He took it in. I think he even apologized, and he actually took some accountability surrounding some of those things. And I was just like, wow, thank God. And he was like, why didn't you ever tell me this before? And I was like, well, I've tried, but you would always get defensive. You would always shut me down. And so it was like, at what point do I just stop trying? Like, I can't keep just talking to myself trying to, like whatever. But yeah, that was probably one of the biggest I guess hardest conversations. But I mean, still, again, I've had other profound situations, and like even in friendships, just conversations about like just not feeling valued in a friendship, and I've had to have that conversation with a friend, and it worked out fine, whatever. But yeah,
you kind of just know your place with it. But to touch on your dad's scenario, sometimes it takes time for people to take the accountability, and sometimes effort more than one time too. Is what I've noticed from that scenario, which
very true.
Hey, that's good that you didn't give up and you still tried to get your point across to your dad. So I think that's really good. Yeah. But yeah, with the friends thing too, sometimes friends don't put in that same effort that you want, and that's a hard conversation to have too. Just to touch on that as well. Yeah. But I don't think you always have to like stop being friends with the person completely. I think you kind of can just place them like, okay, this is kind of where our relationship is now.
Exactly. And that's the purpose of having these conversations, right? It's about like, what is the solution? Yeah. Because if I came to you and something was weighing on my shoulders real heavy, a lot of the times when we go into hard conversations, the other person don't even know. They don't know how you've been feeling. And so for people that refuse to have hard conversations because they're just, prideful, or they're just afraid to have it type of thing, then you're left feeling so like all the feelings that brought you to this point are just going to go unresolved. And so it's just take that step to have that hard conversation. But I think what makes it such a difficult thing to do is because, again, like we said, we don't know how people are going to take it. And so some people, I think, are not prepared to not be able to not continue that friendship or that relationship with that person. Sometimes. And so they rather not say anything and hold it in because it's like, I'm afraid to lose you. So I don't want to say what I have to say because I feel like you're going to invalidate what I have to say, how I feel. Yeah. You're not going to receive what I said. And so then we're not going to be cool. And like you said, like when you have hard, it doesn't mean that
sometimes boundaries are just placed.
Exactly. It's just a boundary needs to be placed. And there's understanding after that conversation has been had that like, okay, I see your point. And then you go with that. I see your point. You see my point. Cool. There's been a solution. It's been resolved, or it should be resolved. Now, where do we go from here?
How do we move forward?
And even with my dad, I had to set up some boundaries. There were some very clear boundaries that I had set up. And it was just necessary for me, just through my healing process and, all these other kind of things. And so whether you make those boundaries known to that person or not and keep just a mental note of the boundary that needs to be set, there's still going to be some boundary there, which is okay. And boundaries are necessary in every type of relationship to an extent, because
sometimes that's why there's a hard conversation in the first place. Exactly. Because a boundary has been crossed.
Exactly. And I've had a hard conversation with that one too about people crossing boundaries that I'm not going to get into. But even there, I've been like, okay, this got to be checked because what are we doing? Like, be respectful type of thing. Anyway, but yeah, and it. Don't laugh too hard. You are acting up. Have you ever had to say something in the workforce though, in the workplace, where you had to have a conversation with somebody, and it's like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go.
Not really, honestly. I feel like I should have, but I end up not having. This is the time where I let it be, because they weren't my friend. They were a coworker, but I don't know if it's off topic or not, but I will just share anyways. So this person is really this person that I worked with. It was a lot of us. We were all in the training room. This girl was like low key, like trying to bully me. Like something just switched. Oh no. Yeah, she switched. And like low key tried to bully me. I felt like I was in middle school all over again. And I'm just like, we're grown adults.
What year was this?
This was 2018.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to figure out the time period of what job you're talking about.
And then one of my other coworkers though, she low key stood up for me, and shout out to her. Cause I'm not gonna say no names because then people gonna know. But it was some kind of game in the training room we was doing, and she stood up. It was her turn, and she just said this powerful thing of like, we are all grown adults. We should, act a certain way and be, kind to each other. Like it was something along those lines, and I was like, "Girl, preach, preach." But later on, she told me like she was low key saying it for the girl that she peeped like how the girl was acting, and I was like, so I wasn't tripping, because sometimes I be thinking I'm tripping. I'm thinking like, oh
yeah,
she's she's not bothering me. It's in my head,
right?
But when someone else lets you know like they peep to someone trying to be like slick and shady with you. But the whole time, because I'm a child of God, I just ignored her. And if she had something smart to say, I would just answer the question like a grown adults.
Yeah.
But everyone liked me still. Emphasis everyone was still my friends. Yeah, emphasis on the grown adult. Everyone still liked me. Everyone still hung out with me. So I think it made her feel silly at one point. Yeah. So she calmed down. But it was just like, it was giving like, bully, like, how old are you?
Right.
In the workforce.
Girl.
But I paid her no mind.
That's good.
Because what I look like, I'm here for a job, not for you.
Exactly. No, I'll have to ask specifically what job this was and who it was. So we'll get into that off air. But I've never had no situation like that in the workplace. I guess my mind, when I asked you that question, my mind went to like professionally having to talk to somebody. Like, okay, for example.
That was professional. I mean, like per my last email.
Yeah. Like that type
I'm
of thing.
sure I have, yeah.
Because I've had to do that with managers. I've had to have hard conversations. I remember this one time. I don't even remember this girl's name, actually. I hope she's doing well. I really hope she's doing well. But she was my manager when I was working at one of the massage places I used to work at. And they hired her, and I don't know why they hired baby girl, because sis was so anxiety filled. Every time she stepped in the workplace, everybody was on edge. Everybody else had anxiety because of her. And like we talking amongst each other, like me and my coworkers, like, oh my God, we cannot do this, blah, blah. And I just had to take one for the team. I had to take one for the team. And I had to like sit with her in the office, and I told her, and again, this was a difficult conversation because I already knew she had anxiety, so I didn't know how she was going to take this conversation.
Could have had a whole mental breakdown.
Right. And I was like, I don't need this girl going off the hinges after I said this and quit today. But I basically had to tell her, like, girl, I don't think this is the job for you. You come in here with anxiety and you give everybody else anxiety. And I said it nicely, but I had to tell her.
What she said? Did she take it well?
I really don't even remember, but she didn't last. There was no way she was going to last. She didn't last. But
that's good. She took your advice.
And she there is no way she thought she was going to last. There was no way she thought I think I've seen her on social media recently, and I think she's a Hooters girl now or something like that.
That's a whole another direction.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
No, I've had to do the per my last emails before. I know one time we had to have a whole group meeting because everybody was having an issue
with somebody.
It was with another department. It was accounts payable. We was struggling, so we had to have a whole meeting. That's how bad it got.
Dang.
I was like, woo.
Not for
my last email.
Yeah. When I was at this is the last one because I know we need to keep going. I'm so sorry. It just made me think one more time. I had when I worked at the chiropractic office that I worked at, this one really, and this goes to show, this is along the lines of not having miscommunication and misunderstanding with somebody. So my boss, who owned the chiropractic clinic, he basically he hired somebody in place of me and didn't tell me that this girl was coming in to do my job.
I think I remember this.
Yes. This girl showed up and I'm like, hi, I'm thinking I'm about to train her on something else. She's coming for my job. I said, now what? I said, I was mad. I said, oh, hell no. And I went in there and I had to talk to him and shout out to him because he's a great person. That was just not one of his best moments. And anyway, but I had to talk to him and I basically had to tell him, like, this is not okay. Like, how dare you not even talk to me about replacing me, and why am I being replaced? I run the show here, and not to be on my high horse, but I was doing everything in that damn office. So how do you have some girl that you want me to train coming from the position I'm in? And so he had to tell me, he was like, oh, no, that's not how and he broke it down, and I was like, oh, okay, I get where you're coming from. He explained it, and I didn't take it personally at that point, but still, it was still professionally, he did not handle it like it should have been handled. He definitely should have told me before me finding out that homegirl was coming in to train for my position. And I left after that. I left. I found me another job, and I told him why. And I said, you did not handle that appropriately. Yeah. And so I am leaving. But I still go visit, and I still text him to see how he's doing and stuff like that. So there's no bad blood, but I definitely had to let him know in that situation, like, I got to walk away now because it's too much going on here, and I need more pay anyway. And you not budget, so I got to dip. Gotta go. But anyway, kind of to wrap it up from there. What's the takeaway, and what are some pointers or things that you think we could share for better communication to people?
So my pointers for having hard conversations is don't talk to someone when you're angry, because I've experienced that too. Well, I've been the person who have confronted someone upset, so I would suggest not doing that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. So I would say definitely calm down, be level-headed when you are presenting someone or coming to someone with information that you want to address. Know how you feel and be ready to express it in just share in a loving manner, but be direct, but be nice, about it, basically, is what I would say. And just have as much facts as you can, or know as much as you need to know, to just let them know, like, this is where I'm coming from. I like to have facts personally. Same. And I just be like, oh, I feel, right. Like receipts to kind of have some receipts. So that would be some of my pointers.
That's good.
What you got?
I was gonna say that. Oh. No, I mean, I would say, definitely be level-headed when you're going to have those conversations. Have those conversations at appropriate times, too. And I say that because we've seen plenty of times where people have conversations that don't need to be had at times that they should not be had, and then it ruins somebody's moment or something like that. So know when you should be having those conversations. But
that's a good one.
Definitely make sure that you have your receipts ready to go. And I say that not to be like, because I need to tell them this, and this. Not to tell them that way, not like that. But just so that you have, if they need examples and they're confused as to what you're talking about, because for me to say, I feel like this, you might be like, well, why you even feel like that? What would make you feel like that? Well, this time you did this, and this time you said that, and it made me feel like this. And then that's when you could be like, in retrospect, be like, oh, okay, I can see how you took that, and I apologize, I think what's good to have in the back of your mind, which again is why I believe people don't even have conversations up front anyway, is because, again, they don't know how people are going to take it. So I think for someone like me at least, I think it would benefit you if you kind of weigh out all the possible outcomes so that you can go into it more confidently, because every conversation is not going to have a positive resolution. Or be resolved in the way that you wanted it to be resolved. Because although you might come correct in talking to whoever it is about, you know, like, this is what's going on and this is how I feel, whatever, they might blow up and they can't receive it, and they're not trying to receive it. And then it's like, well, then why did I even do that? But I know for me, anytime I've had a conversation, a tough conversation with anybody, I can say that I tried and stuff be lifted off me anyway, because at least I know I did my part. I did what I felt I need to do in order to resolve the conflict that I feel is there, the anxiety, all of that kind of stuff. And so I think it may benefit some people to be in their minds, think of like, okay, if I say this and we're not cool no more, or we got to take a step back, be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that is okay.
That is the resolution.
That is the resolution. And sometimes having hard conversations will reveal to you who should be in your life and who should not be. Exactly. Because I will say, if I came to you and you completely dismiss me, I don't even expect that from you. But if you completely dismiss me and shut me down and stuff like that, it's like, okay, where is this coming from? Why are you acting like that? Whatever. And then mental note, boundary, where do I need to place you in my life now? Because you're not even trying to be a friend, quote, quote, to me, yes, you know, or whatever. And this, again, can apply to anybody in your life, a significant other or, you know, a family member, whatever. And so that's, again, where those boundaries come into play. So just being prepared for the outcome of what could possibly happen would help. Because
it can weigh on you, too, like holding stuff
in like that.
In. So it's better to go ahead and get it out. People be like, oh, I'm non-confrontational.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to confront.
Exactly. And I've noticed, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Oh, no, that's it.
I've noticed there's like some people that, I mean, because confrontation is all about communication anyway. Some people just aren't good communicators. And that be most the problem is you're not a good communicator. And I'm not saying that I'm a great communicator. I do pride myself on the fact that I am very willing to have conversations. You know, and confront certain things or whatever. That doesn't mean though that I still have it down pat, you know, because tone is everything still. Else. Okay, India. That's really good. Not use something else. What does that mean? No, because tone is everything. My delivery sometimes can be off.
This is really good for the most part, but I have seen her on her bad days.
Have you?
I mean, not horrible, but I've seen her like
where I'm talking to somebody and go off.
Yeah. When you're talking to somebody or confronting them or checking them or whatever.
Okay. Well, she's pointing out a flaw.
I say she does good for the most part.
No, I appreciate it. But my whole point, though, is the fact that I'm still not the best in communication.
That's what I was highlighting when you're not the best.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, India. When I'm not always my best, because even though I am comfortable enough to confront and have conversations, that doesn't mean that my communication style is always the best. And so that still doesn't mean that I'm an expert in communications. So that should be taken into account as well. Because I feel like some people be like, oh yeah, I can confront, I can communicate, but let's really talk about it. You really not really a good communicator until you can actually confront every situation, whether you want to or don't want to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I feel you.
Because there's some people that be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to tell this person, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. But then let it be a situation that you really don't want to confront. Okay.
When people be like, I'm real. Be like, I'm real.
Yeah. Well, then speak up on those situations that you don't feel comfortable to speak on. But you so comfortable talking all this.
Yeah, some situations people can
don't
brag.
Let it be situational.
People can brag about in this scenario. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it real or whatever. And then some scenarios they real quiet.
Right, right. And so it's just like about, you know. And again, maybe it's because they just don't have the maturity in communication styles to navigate.
I think a lot of times that's what it is. Maturity.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. Yeah. And as you grow, hopefully you are working on those parts of your honing in on those skills that you need to actually communicate effectively, because that's what really makes the point go across and be taken into consideration, is how you present something. Because if you coming at me all sideways, then yeah, I'm not trying to receive that. You go what? But when you come to somebody and you're ready to actively listen and understand,
and take
accountability, then you can go somewhere with that. And that's the unfortunate part, is the fact that you could sit here and talk to somebody that has no skill at all to take accountability, not to really try to hear what you have to say. And that's what makes it hard. And it really is unfortunate.
Yeah. Because sometimes the conversation can come back on yourself. Like they may say something like where you may have to take accountability on. So you have to be prepared for that as well.
Yeah.
You might have done something as well to trigger that response. Yeah. So
I've
both of y'all can be saying sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And don't be too prideful to apologize, especially if it's somebody you care about and you love. For real. You know, I think people, they let things be. And it's like, there's situations where you just should let things be. But when it's really somebody that you truly do care about and you want them in your life, then it is best that you do have a sit-down conversation. And that's also another tip, I would say. Conversations through text, do not do. When you're trying to have
they don't go well.
Big, like, real conversations, it needs to be in person, or if this person is not around, to have in person, FaceTime, something, because you can interpret things all the way wrong via text.
Yes.
And then it really does come back on you. And it's like, well, dang, wasn't even trying to go there with that, you know? And so, yeah, I think that's kind of all that I have to say.
Yeah, I was going to add on to that. But I forgot, once again, this brain of mine.
Mindless.
It's all over the place. Your mind.
Have I ever offended you and you've had to have is there any time that I can't remember any time that we've had hard conversations with each other like that, but anything you've ever wanted to confront me on?
So it's really nothing that I can think of, like, from the past. I feel like I've shared those with you, and they weren't really hard conversations.
Yeah,
like one of them that I can think of two of them. One of them was when we were really younger.
When you said sticks and stones won't break my bones, but
what? No, that's not it.
That came to mind.
So the first one that I could think of, it had to deal with a guy. It's not a guy that you were talking to or anything. It's a guy that I liked, and I'm trying to be vague. This is when we were a long time ago. So it's a guy that I liked, and they start liking someone that you knew.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And they did that whole back and forth situation.
That was a tough situation.
And that was a tough situation because she was friends with both of us. So that's the first one that I can think of. And then, but I'm saying I don't remember us like going in depth about it. But of course, you were my best friend, so you knew the circumstances basically.
Yeah.
And then the second one, as adults, I would have to say, and I can't remember if we've ever talked about it in depth, but it was the proposal.
What you mean?
So with the proposal, so you and Darchi planned it,
and you wanted to be more involved.
No, I didn't want to be involved.
Oh,
what?
My bad.
Why would I want to be involved in my proposal?
Oh no.
My family wasn't there.
I thought you were talking about me, my proposal. You're talking about your own proposal.
Oh wait, yeah. What you said? What? Say it again. Your proposal? I was involved in your proposal.
You were. No, there's something else I'm talking about regarding that. But I remember you saying. Never mind though. That's not what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
It was something very. Anyway, keep
going.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
On that one, because I feel like I was involved in that one. No, but mine's because I know you and Darchi planned it, but my family wasn't at the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that would be the only two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know in depth, so that's why I didn't really say anything either, because I don't know in depth of how you and Darchi planned it. But I was like, I would have expected one of y'all to make sure that my family was at the restaurant.
Yeah, and
so that was like the only 2 times where I was.
I think it was because, like, now looking hindsight, like, yeah, why wouldn't we just have them at the restaurant? But I think it's because we wanted y'all to be like, we wanted you to be here afterwards, just with your family and not with them. With all of us
try to
too.
Separate it.
Yeah, even though I guess you saying that we should have put it all together.
Yeah,
but it was almost like, I think I remember that it was so like I know so long ago that it was like, oh no, she probably wants this moment with her family by herself, and not with everybody else. If I remember that correctly. But
yeah.
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah, those are the only two hard conversations
because your emotions were wrapped in it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what made it difficult.
Emotions. Yeah, and it's not like it's something that you, like, I know intentionally. Right. You just was in the mix of it. Really. So it's nothing that you ever kind of just have done personally to me. Both of those scenarios are things that you were kind of wrapped in, if that makes sense.
It does.
But yeah, that's it for me. What about you?
I can't think of anything.
Really?
I mean, there might be something, but I just feel like with me and India, I feel like, first of all, we don't even get into it like that anyway. And I think we've just done a good job of just being able to read each other. Just like, okay, I'm not gonna press that. We not
press that, or be like, remember we used to get tired of each other. Yeah, like we've been at my house for too long.
Yeah, we've always been good with communicating with each other. Like, okay, we just need to be away from each other. This is it.
You get on my nerves. Yeah, that's but we can hang definitely. Well, back then because we got lives now. I thought we didn't have lives before, but we definitely was thick as thieves.
Right. And we was always with each other.
Hang out for like days
on end, yes. I do remember this one time though. I told India she was selfish. Remember that? It was a long time ago. We went out of town. I went out of town with y'all. It was your family. And you were mad at me. You were mad at me because I was like, you're just being selfish. And she took it so hard.
Wait, what time?
I don't even remember the whole situation. I just remember we went out of town, and then I don't even know what you did. I don't even remember what it was, but it was on the car ride, and I was going to stay the night because I think we got back late, so I was going to stay the night at your house, and then I was going to go home the next day. And I don't remember what India did or what the situation was, but I said, you're just being selfish. And India...
I probably did not take it well.
She did not take it well. I'm sure I probably did not present it well either. But told her she was selfish. She said, I'm not selfish and blah, blah, blah. And this was more, I mean, you've always been just more sensitive anyway, out of the two of us at least, more sensitive anyway. But younger India was extremely sensitive. So me saying that, and then I was a lot more aggressive when I was younger too. So just take that into account. More aggressive, more sensitive when we were younger. And said that you didn't even sleep in your own room that night. You went to sleep in your parents' room because you were so mad at me.
Dang.
And the next morning, that's crazy that I remembered this as well as I do. The next morning,
I am selfish though a little bit. I'm working on it. No,
good
I'm a Leo.
Good self-reflection, I guess. I wouldn't say you're selfish.
I don't think I would just put that label on me, but I can. In some areas, I can be probably selfish. I would say that. Yes.
I think we all can, though, in some areas. But overall, I wouldn't say you're a selfish person in general. But during that time, baby, I said you were selfish, and you did not stay in that room that night. You went and slept in your parents' room, and I slept in her bed by myself.
That probably was very defensive.
Yeah, she was very upset, and I don't remember what the resolution. I mean, we was just cool after that. The next day, you came in the room. I don't know if I apologized. I don't know if I did.
Speaking on how this sounds when we were younger, probably not. We probably just moved on.
Yeah, I think we just moved on.
Yeah, I will say I was thinking about this this time not too long ago. I was like, Tanisha was such a firecracker when we were younger because I visited her at her elementary one time, and somebody was like, India, what kind of name is India? And Snish was like, you don't talk about my friend name like that. And then like she went off, and I was like in the background like, yeah. Like she would be the one that'd be like feisty and defend me, and I'd be like in the back, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I
Do you
remember that time. Yes. It was on the playground too.
Oh, on the
You would
playground,
come to
yes.
eat lunch with me or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Good times.
That's so funny.
But anyway, yes, there's
Man,
always.
I can't believe that you ain't got none from me.
I don't. I'm sure if I really thought, then maybe I could. I do remember one time you did offend me though. This wasn't that long ago, and I'm saying not that long ago, as in like we were adults. This is probably like some years back.
Yes,
And
give
this
me
one,
something. Give me
this
something.
actually really did offend me because I was really trying.
Tell me.
You made me so mad. I didn't even say nothing though. I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna talk to her because I'm just not gonna deal with this. Because honestly, I took it very offensively. But I think you. I don't even think you really meant it that way. But you could tell me if you did. Now I just don't. I didn't take it that thinking. I don't think you really meant like that. But I still took it personally. I was making some.
Oh Lord.
I had made something. Mind you, I cook a lot now. But like before my husband, pre-Lincoln and Tanisha together, I was not cooking like that. No. And every now and then I would get in the kitchen and I would bake something or I'd do something. And I remember I posted something I had made, and I don't even remember what your comment was.
You talking about what I said? Oh, okay, you domesticated?
Oh, no.
Oh.
This was probably like 5-6 years ago. It had to be. And you made some comment. I had posted on Instagram about what I had made, and I was so proud that I did it. And you said something. You commented something. I don't even remember what it was, but I was pissed.
What did I say?
I don't remember.
Dang.
You just said something that sounded like shady. It was something shady.
Was I like, oh, that look good for once, or what? Like, what was, I mean, I know I didn't say that, but what?
It was something you didn't say. Those weren't your words, but it was something like that. Like it was shady. It sounded shady, whether you really meant it to be shady or not. So I was like, you know what?
You heifer, you.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
That's funny.
oh,
that's harmless. Yeah, no. I don't remember that, but I can be shady. I can be shady.
Yes, you can be shady.
That's funny.
And that's the thing. Shady people always think other people trying to be shady when you're not. Like I'm thinking of one person right now that just always died because that person was shady as hell.
I know.
Always died.
About. I know he's.
I was trying to be shady. I'm like, I don't even care that much. Like, no, I'm not trying to be shady at all.
Yeah.
But that's what's wrong with y'all shady folks. Y'all always need somebody.
That's
I
why
can
I said,
throw shade, but
that's-
I'm not shady just naturally.
That's why I had said too, where sometimes I'll be like, okay, maybe that person is not. You know, I be trying to get people up in the doubt because I know how I can be. So I'll be like, wait, no, maybe they're not. Let me calm down. But a lot of times I be right, but.
And I think that's why I feel like there's instances where you peep somebody shading me, but because I'm not a naturally shady person, you'll point it out, and I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't even take it that way."
Yeah,
it'd be the
true,
opposite.
True. Yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh, okay," because I don't be caring like that.
It's so funny how much we've kind of switched. It's like I'm more of the. Oh, they being shady where I'm gonna be shady, and then snitches will be like, whatever.
Yeah, I'd be so like roll off the shoulder. You beefing with like
you beefing with yourself.
Beefing with just like I just let things roll off. In India, yeah, you be on one like no, like girl, I don't even care. I didn't peep that. Yeah, she got something to say. I'd be like, I ain't got nothing to say at all. So that is funny how the dynamics kind of change.
Yes, that is. But, yeah, I feel like we done got off topic, but hey, that was fun though. Memory lane.
Down memory lane. Anyway, thank you guys.
Hey, now I need to know about your proposal thing. What was you talking about?
Oh, I'll tell you off air.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy. It was nothing crazy. It was just anyway. Yeah.
Y'all don't get that tea.
We've already gone long enough. Thank you guys if you've stuck around this long.
I know. If you stuck around this long.
Thank you guys for sticking along with your besties. please comment, like, subscribe. And if you guys want to see anything specific, please let us know any topics that you would like us to talk about.
Let us
I mean, we're
running out of topics. No,
yeah, low key we are. You know, we got to brainstorm a little more, but like, please let us know. We got our own opinions, so nothing is factual. I guess
Correct.
It's just factual to us.
It's good old conversation.
But please, if you have something that you'd like to share, or anytime that you felt like, you know, this is a hard conversation, how do I navigate it? You know, I am no expert. We are no experts, but I'd be happy to share some experiences of my own and help you navigate through hard conversations with people that you love and care about.
Facts. What she said. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.